Did you think you were buying tickets in the front? Would you like to see if there are tickets still available in the front? Yes. Sure. You want to be the first? If you want.
I've done this before. Show me your teeth. Show me your teeth.
What?
Get on the floor. Did you shower? No game until you shower.
I showered.
Get down. Why are you standing there? I said get on the floor all the way down.
My knees. Woof, woof. You should have carpeting. Woof. It hurts my knees.
No talking. One more time and I'll get the whip.
It should be a rolled-up newspaper. Woof. A roll-up newspaper would be more believable. It would be more believable than a whip.
If you don't follow my rules, you're out of here. You got it? I'm the master and you're the dog. Understand?
Okay, I'm following.
What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
I have fleas. I thought you could scratch it.
Dude, I didn't say you have fleas. I have to be the one to say it. Get back down. Get down. All the way down. I'm not your bitch. Stomach, head, down.
What happened to this pudding? Biscuit!
Shut up!
Biscuit!
Come on, I wasn't even hurting you.
I'm sorry. I really need to know what happened to Miss Pudding.
She's gone. She doesn't work here anymore. You got me. If you don't like me, no reason.
I didn't mean it like that.
Okay, then take off your socks. If you don't take off your socks, we can't play.
Can you say my name? End the demand with my name. Miss Pudding did it all the time. Say, take off your socks right now, Pete.
I'm not Miss Pudding.
I'm totally willing to cooperate if you just say my name.
Take off your socks right now, Pete. Okay, why the fuck are you staring at me? I said your name. I said your fucking name.
I'll do anything but that. I don't want to take off my socks.
That's it. You're going in at 3. Hey. Yes. I will. Yes, he paid. Weird, not listening. All right, yes, I said I would. Okay. Promise. Yes, I'll wait. We're finished. I'm not letting you out. You don't cooperate. I can't trust you.
Please, no, I really need help. Please, I'm really stuck. My life is awful.
You obviously don't want my help.
Can I come out?
No, you can't come out until Stu gets here.
Who's Stu?
Stu's from animal control and he's gonna gas your fucking ass away if you keep acting stupid. Oh God, stop crying. I don't need this shit. I've been telling you to do stuff and it's like you don't hear me. I can't create in this kind of situation. You make it very hard.
I'm sorry. I was expecting Miss Pudding. What happened to her?
She wants more from her fucking life. Who cares? The game is over, all right? Stop talking.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to not cooperate. It's just my life is all messed up right now. I've reached the end. This might be my last day here. My very, very last day here on Earth.
What, are you dying or something?
Well, sort of. It's like nobody really gives a shit. I can't live like this anymore. I need somebody to talk to, please.
Shut up. I told you that the
Please.
game is over. And stop the dog whine. Stop it.
Oh.
The crying is so annoying.
Maybe if I were a puppy, you know, some cute little dog, someone would care. Because it's just so much more painful to cry as a human. Can I go?
All right, I'll let you out. But you have to stop the dog crap. Stu's going to be here real soon. We're done playing, understand?
Yes.
So if you try to pull something...
Thanks.
Too close. Sit over there.
Thank you so much. Are you really ending my session?
Look, dude, I was asking for simple things. I start with simple first, and then I make it more challenging. The more you rise to the challenge, the better this all feels. Do you get what I'm saying? You did it to yourself. Do you understand that?
I think we just started off all wrong. I don't think I should have been a dog. Maybe I should have been a meow or a...
No, you're not hearing me. You didn't hear anything I said. Fuck it, just fuck it. I have a lot of shit on my plate. I think you should get your clothes and get out. You better leave before Stu gets here. It would make everything easier if you leave on your own.
Is Stu a really big guy?
Yeah, he's fucking huge, so you should leave.
I don't want to take off my socks. I'll do anything else. I'll take anything else off. I'll do anything, just not my socks.
That's the point. It's about the unknown, surrendering control. If you're anal about taking off your socks, then I don't know. I can't help you.
Miss Pudding understood.
I don't care about Miss Pudding.
You're new at this, right?
You better get your clothes on.
I didn't mean anything by it. You're in college?
Leave!
You're just doing this to pay off college, right?
Stu's gonna be here really soon.
I'm a porn addict.
I'm not surprised.
It's hard for me to leave my house.
Dude, you need some serious therapy.
I was in therapy. I tried, but I couldn't get to my sessions. Couldn't get out of my house. And you know what they did? They billed me. They sent me a bill when I wasn't even there. They didn't even call. They didn't call to find out if I was okay.
Then get another therapist.
Well, I did. I saw a sex therapist. She was very expensive. $300 for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And she didn't even start on time. It was a 2 o'clock appointment, and she'd walk in at 10 after 2 and end at 2:45. 35 minutes for $300.
That's fucked up. You should have said something.
I didn't want to be all confrontational. I wanted help.
So what did the expensive sex therapist tell you to do?
She said that I do all my relationships in my head, and, well, I had to get out of my head. If I can get out of my head, then I can get out of my house. And she encouraged me to interact with people, learn how to handle the demands of a relationship. But that all just seems very hard.
You want to know what's wrong with you? You're lazy. Your real problem is that you're lazy. Yeah, I don't have to be a fancy sex therapist to get that. You're wasting your money and everyone's time.
I had a really good job, but then they fired me. I'm living on cash advances, so I've got nothing now.
You're not getting your money back. Everyone's life sucks in some way.
But I don't understand. Why do you say I'm lazy?
Really?
Yeah, can you explain? Can you elaborate?
You come here and you're supposed to be a dog, but you don't do what you're told. You expect all these therapists to figure out your problems. You didn't even show up to your appointment. Did you call them? Did you cancel?
No.
So you were a no-show. I hate that. Why didn't you call?
I don't know. Can you tell me why?
No, that, right there, what you just said. You expect me to figure out why you're so unhappy and can't function? You know, you have to participate if you want to return.
Are you studying psychology? Because that was pretty good. How you strung all that together.
Psychology minor, theater major. We're done here. What? Yes. How long? Oh wait, I said I would. Okay. Seriously, why are you crying? It just didn't work out, that's all. Not a big deal. Please stop.
I can't stop. My life is over.
No, it's not.
I'm gonna go home and hang myself.
Stop that. That's some serious shit you're saying.
I'm an addict. I can't stop. What's the point of living if you just have so much pain? I'd rather just not be here.
You know, that's really fucked up laying this all on me. How do you think I would feel? My customer hangs himself? I was the last person you see and then you hang yourself? That would be a horrible thing to do to me.
It's not because of you. My life, I have nothing to live for. I just can't stop what I'm doing.
Look, everyone struggles. I want to break up with my boyfriend because he can be a real asshole. We break up and then we get back together. I try not to go back, but I end up going back. But I try, I keep trying.
Why? Why are you with him if he's an asshole?
It's crazy, really crazy. We're addicted, we get some weird high from each other, totally addicted. And he's got his own addiction, separate from his addiction to me.
What are his other addictions?
Pot, beer, he loves porn too. He got me into this. Got me the outfits, begged me, he wouldn't let up, kept bugging me. So we did it together at first. I liked it was fun, just me and him. But then he wanted to watch. He wanted to watch me do this with other guys. Today we had this fight because he wanted to watch this session. It was a really big fight. I told him no. He never fucking lets up.
That's depressing, and it doesn't make me want to live.
Fuck you, asshole! Fuck you! Fucking die, see if I care!
I'm sorry. I'm really so sorry. I felt different. That's all. I thought you were this free spirit, totally in control.
I am.
But you've got the boyfriend telling you what to do.
He's not here now.
Maybe. Yeah, he's the boss. He gets you to do these things, and if you don't do them, he makes you feel bad. That's why I want to kill myself.
That doesn't make any sense what you're saying.
It doesn't make any sense what you're saying either.
At least I'm not gonna hang myself just because not everything is going the way I want it to.
So you would say you're happy in your life, even if you're with someone that controls you? Well, are you happy? Is everything in your life manageable, tolerable, going the way you want it? Well,
I'm alive, I have a chance to work at it and figure it out. I'm not giving up, I'm not killing myself.
but you're not leaving your boyfriend.
It will eventually work out for me because I'm working it. It's not perfect, it looks messy, but I'm not like you. You're a coward. You know why you're a coward? Cowards give up. You're giving up. I'm not.
You're right.
I am
a coward.
I am right. I'm totally right. And I'm glad you're listening. Finally you're listening.
I am.
Good. So, anything else? What?
Wait, say that again.
What?
Say, anything else. Can I get you anything else? Would you like anything else? Rose Coast Coffee House! You always remembered exactly how I took my coffee.
A little bit.
A dash of cinnamon and a straw.
This is wild. That was a long time ago.
Your hair was different.
It's a wig.
I mean, it looks real. I didn't know the difference.
Stu says black hair is more dominating.
I like black. I mean, I like hair. You're really pretty. I mean, your face and everything is really pretty, but your insides are really real and beautiful. You're not afraid to say what you think, and you don't hold back. Stu doesn't deserve you. I'm sorry, but he sounds like a real jerk. I'm really so sorry. I'm a jerk too, so I know when another guy's being a jerk.
Why do you drink hot coffee with a soda straw?
It's safer. You can totally sip it up and, test how hot it is without swallowing it. I hate burning my tongue.
You better go.
I'm glad Stu didn't watch us.
It's Stu.
I'm glad it was just us.
He's gonna be an asshole.
I don't want to leave.
Serious, he likes me doing this stuff, but he gets really weird about me talking to guys.
I'm not afraid of Stu. I want to do my session again.
He's outside.
I won't be a coward, and we won't let Stu be an asshole. I'll take off my socks for you. I'll take my socks off if you don't let him in.
Okay, boy, get down. Sit your ass down.
Woof!
Down, stay down. I'm not your bitch.
Woof!
Glad you could be here, Mr. Crowley. We have such a backlog of cases. The judge is up to his, ears, you might say, in cases.
Well, I'm happy to help, Mrs. Hastings.
People been pushing this new mediation idea. Say they're bringing the courts up to date. But with these budget cuts, can't even buy new brooms.
I'm sorry.
And you yourself just being trained.
Well, I'll be fine. I'm recently retired from the bank, and with my upper management experience, I'm sure that I'll be able to contribute something that...
I hope so. These marital cases can be loud.
I understand.
Well, here's your first case. The folder is thin, meaning the couple hasn't been here too much. Thank God. Well, I think the judge is giving you a chance to break in. This one here is child support.
Well, I'll do my best, Mrs. Hastings. It's my way of giving back.
Giving back what?
It's just an expression.
Never heard. You can call me Doris. People call me Doris the do-gooder.
I'm sure you deserve the sobriquet.
What's a sober kit?
It's a compliment.
Doesn't sound like one to me. Oh, what have you got there?
Oh, just some mints and sugarless gum. We had them at the bank before I retired.
Nice. No doggy bones? Just kidding.
Well, I feel it's a way of breaking the ice. I understand that child support cases can be very stressful.
Are you kidding me? We had a case just last week. The couple came in and trashed the place. We had to call maintenance.
Oh, I heard about that during my training session, Mrs. Doris.
Oh, good thing O'Malley's outside. He's the blue right out there with the club. Oh, sorry about the accommodations. With the budget cuts and that mess last week, throwing
Well,
every...
I'm sure with my professional presence, I'm going to be able to deliver something that's...
Don't even have a fan with all this heat. Oh, this table, it's from the lunchroom in the basement. Don't even have a window to open. You who? No, you over there. No, you come in here. That's right. No. Don't go there. No, come here. Come here. The mediator is ready to see you.
Here, have a seat right here, Mrs. McElroy.
No, Mr. McElroy, it's okay. It's all right. Come in.
You know, if you put a glass of beer on this here table, he'll fly in on rollies.
That's right. Move it along, mister. We got a professional operation here. Right here, right here. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. McElroy. This is Mr. Foley. He'll be helping with your case.
Frowley. My name is Frowley.
That's what I said. Frowley. Mr. Frowley is new around here. He's going to be helping with your child or children.
Yes. And glad to meet you, sir. Glad to meet you.
Well, I'll leave you folks as to get started with this business, as to work on your situation.
Yes, and we're going to be fine, Mrs. Hastings, just fine.
Don't forget our friend, Mr. O'Malley. Just saying.
It's hot as hell in here. Give me a rag, Tina.
Sure don't know if I could get any money, but I'd like it if I could. They say upstairs that I can't have any money till I take him to court so's to get some of his.
I ain't got no money, so don't ask. She ain't gonna get a dime.
I see here in the paperwork, you have one son, Ferris, is that right?
That's right.
And I see the form refers to Ferris as a junior.
That's correct. That's our son together.
I also see his father here is Ferris the second. Wouldn't that make your son Ferris the third?
Well, used to be, not no more. His granddaddy died last winter. We had to sit down and redo his number. Move him up one.
I see. Would either of you like some gum or a mint, perhaps? Look, situations like this are always a compromise. And when it comes to finding money and support for little Ferris, I have to tell you that no one ever gets everything they want.
Well, the whole dang thing's her fault. She had to go start up a rumor on my job. Went around saying I was fooling around with all the female workers. And the boss, he had a hissy fit. Yelled I should have kept my home life separate, and he fired me. Got no money.
Have you seen about unemployment?
Hell no! I already got that.
What do you do for a living, Mr. McElroy?
I drive a backhoe.
And does that pay well?
Not recent. I got a bent bucket.
Excuse me?
A backhoe has a bucket.
A bucket. Oh, yes, that long thing that sticks out, usually in the front, right?
Well, it's hard to say. There's a scoop on one side and a bucket on the other. Can't say which is the front.
But it's a backhoe.
Well, damned if I know why. And a backhoe don't hoe nothing. It digs.
I see.
Oh, they're big enough, you can't miss them. Well, like I said, you can't tell the front from the back. Sometimes they go one way, then they go the other.
backwards.
Well, if you think it was going frontwards, then yeah, the other way would be backwards. But with a backhoe, you might start out going backwards. So when you slap her in reverse, you're going frontwards.
I think we should get back to little Ferris.
Now a front end loader, that's easy. Big vehicle got a scoop on the front so as to grab a load. So it's a front end loader. Get it?
Got it. Now regarding little
Now
Ferris.
backhoe, that's a horse of a different color. Though most of them is yeller.
Most of them is yeller. Wait a minute. Look, you're telling me that you cannot support little Ferris because your backhoe is broken?
We say broke, like in it's broke. And it's the bucket that's bent. A bent bucket on a backhoe is just good as broke. I have one of them there candies.
Look, it's imperative that we get back to the reason why we're here, okay? The reason why we're here at this meeting. It's imperative that we get back to little Ferris and the reason we're here.
Yeah, that's the reason we're here.
Little Ferris.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. Now, according to what I'm seeing here is, my paperwork says that you live...
Well, I live with my mother.
Oh, stop your lying. He lives with me. Mother lives downstairs.
Well, I'm downstairs most of the time.
Not when you come upstairs after me,
He chases after you?
in a matter of speaking.
Hey, now, listen, why I gotta support a kid when I get to know nothing about him?
Well, now we're getting somewhere. For what? Give me an example.
Well, she don't show me a report card, for instance.
You don't need to see no report card. I'll tell you when something's going wrong in school.
You see what I mean?
Kid needs shoes.
He's got 'em.
All worn out. He needs jammies.
Well, he can sleep in his skivvies like his old man.
He needs books.
We already got one.
This is good. This is good. Venting is good. This is very positive.
What the hell is venting?
Venting is a form of communication. It's a process. When you vent, you're saying what's on your mind.
I don't need no vent to say what's on my mind.
Oh, how long have you two been separated?
We're not separated.
So you're saying you live together as husband and wife?
Hell, we was never married.
Well, by man and wife, what I meant was...
Oh, I know what you mean.
Wait a minute. How long have you two do you...
Oh, we do it quite regular. That's when we get to chasing around the house.
Okay, I think we should get back
You should
to...
see him when he really gets it going. I mean, he's something else. Where do you think little Ferris comes from in the first place, huh?
Well, I know perfectly well how little babies are made.
Well,
I
you
mean...
didn't know much about backhoes.
Right. But, I say we get back to work, okay? Employment. Now, Mr. McElroy, sir, when you do find work, how are you going to contribute to little Ferris's support?
I ain't. Long as she's a bitch, she gets nothing.
Shit! How you expect me to pay the expenses for this kid? You tell me that.
Now listen, we're not going to get anywhere if you use such language.
You stay out of this. We talk like this all the time. Either I get some damn money for this kid or...
Look, you little shit, you don't need to be swishing your ass in the chair when you talk to me.
Wait.
Oh, yours, Ferris. You and your fat dimpled ass belong in the slab or down the floor.
Oh, no skank's gonna tell me where my ass ought to fit.
Wait, dear, listen, this is out of control. I'm going to have to call Mrs. Hastings. You two need to calm down.
Oh, I'm past calming down.
Me too.
I'm hotter than a steel poker in a smithy shop.
Ooh, and I got a fire needs tending.
You need to calm down. Mrs. Hastings, McElroy, Doris, call maintenance, please.
know there was anyone in here.
It's just me. I can vacate if you'd like to be alone.
No, no. The last thing I want to be is alone. I just don't want to disturb you.
Oh, no, you're not disturbing me at all. Please, come in, sit.
If you don't mind.
Not at all.
Thanks. It's a relief to be able to talk to someone without having to raise your voice.
I know what you mean.
Are you here alone?
No, I'm here with you.
And then, did you come here by yourself?
Yes, all by myself. Unless you count my clipboard and my Kindle, that would make 3 of us.
Always with you, are they?
Well, the clipboard's been with me since college. The Kindle is more recent. My ex-wife gave it to me.
That was a thoughtful gift.
More like a bribe to coax me to take her to parties like this. You don't have to talk to anyone, she would say. Just find yourself a nice, inconspicuous corner when no one's looking. Take out your Kindle and read. If this party had been thrown 2 years ago, Betty would be in the other room having a marvelous time while I'd be in here catching up on my reading.
A couple of years ago.
Last year was when we split. And since then, I haven't been getting many invitations to parties, so when I do, I feel I should appear and prove that I still can.
Then once you appear, you disappear into another room.
Something like that, yeah.
I'm having a good time.
I'm glad someone is.
Oh, I shouldn't have bothered
No,
you.
no, please, you're not bothered. Please. On the contrary, you draw me out quite nicely. Perhaps you're studying to go into journalism?
No, I'm an actress.
Oh, would I have seen you on any of our stages here, though?
No, I'm afraid that nobody's ever heard of me.
You're very young. There's still time for you to get on stage.
If I wanted it.
You don't?
Not really. I want to act in films.
Well, you're near the wrong coast for that. You want to be on the West Coast, where all the action is.
There's nothing on the East Coast.
Yeah, a little here and there.
Perhaps you know any of the people involved, since you're a writer and all.
How do you know I'm a writer?
That's what they said you were.
Who said?
Well, everyone. Everyone here at the party and there.
Well, you must be a very good actress indeed. For you had me convinced that all you were after was a place to get away from all the noise in there. When in fact you had an ulterior motive. An action, as they call it in acting school.
I know what an action is.
I'm sure you do. Yours tonight is to troll for connections to help you become a film actress, am I right?
No, actually. Though for your sake, it would be great if you knew anyone in the film business. But for me, it's a little too late for that.
Someone's in with you are? What do you mean too late?
To use my connections, if I had any. The way I see it, the only way I'll ever be in a movie is for someone to write one for me. And as soon as possible. That's where you come in. You can write me one.
And who said so?
The crowd in there.
Did any of them say I could write screenplays?
I asked, but nobody could say for certain.
Well, that is because I cannot. But that is, I haven't yet. I write stage plays. Although these days I'm not writing much of anything, dramatic or otherwise.
You must be writing something. I see that clipboard of yours. What do you put on that?
Ideas. I take it along with me in case I should have it. As you can see, I haven't had many ideas lately.
That's too bad. Your scripts could be useful.
To wrap fish in, right?
No, for me to star in.
But this is marvelous. You come in out of nowhere and ask me to write you something. A film script, no less. A starring vehicle, and yet, to hear you tell it, nobody's ever heard it.
That's true enough.
Well, don't worry about it. Nobody's ever heard of me either.
Well, what about those dudes in there? They've heard of you.
Nobody's heard of them. They're not famous either.
So we're both unknowns. Though I'm far less known than you. My high school yearbook forgot to put in my name and picture, and it was downhill from then on.
You can't have hit bottom yet, otherwise you wouldn't have been invited to the party.
I wasn't.
What'd you do, crash it?
I didn't have to. The invitation wasn't from me. It was from my ex-boyfriend.
Huh.
The invitations were always for him. He was my social contact. I just went along for the ride.
I know the feeling. I'm here on Betty's invitation.
2 gate crashers closeted in the same room. Unbelievable.
Not so unbelievable, it's a fact. The word unbelievable is overused nowadays.
What are you, a school teacher?
Unfortunately, that is how I make my living.
A playwright like you. Unbelievable. Oops. Better watch my step with you.
Don't worry, I don't bite. At a party like this, I try to drop my school teacher persona and find an inconspicuous corner and read.
If that's all you do, why bother coming at all?
I like to hear the babble, just not get into it.
I like to do both. But just now, the hostess had me give her my ex-boyfriend's address. So I get the feeling that from now on, her invitations will go to him, not me. So you could say I'm close to hitting bottom.
So to demonstrate this, you're asking me to write you a screenplay, despite the fact that I've never written one before, and no one's ever heard of either of us. You're crazy or just desperate?
Both? But I have artistically redeeming value. I've got a good visual sense and a great imagination. And if we work together, it shouldn't be too hard to do up a screenplay.
I wouldn't know where to begin.
The beginning is the simple part.
Oh, really? Well, how would you do it?
Easy. As the titles flash, a high camera is angling down at a young woman with a tote bag. She's in a large, crowded room, and the camera follows her. She goes from person to person, talking to each briefly, still carrying her tote bag as if she's afraid to set it down. The camera follows her to an adjoining room where she sees a guy with his Kindle. He's morose and full of self-pity, but all the same...
What are you talking about? I'm not morose. I'm not full of self-pity.
This is a screenplay, silly. Any resemblance to persons living or dead is purely coincidental. This is not about you, and it's not about me. It's about art. It's about life.
All the same, I object to the characterization. I am not morose. I am sober and realistic.
Boring. Better your character should be soured on life, because then you meet someone to sweeten you up. Namely, me. I mean my character. Don't you see, for the sake of the screenplay, for the sake of art.
All right. Art for art's sake.
Oh, you should say, ars gratia artis. That's what it says on the MGM Lion, which is much more appropriate since we're making a movie.
All right. For the sake of the MGM Lion, my character will be soured on life. Go ahead.
All right. My character sees that your character is down in the dumps, but she likes him anyway, and decides to cheer him up by proposing they do a screenplay together.
Sort of a play within a play. Is that how you see it?
What's wrong with that?
Can get awfully recursive.
Recursive.
Like this. In your screenplay, the leading lady suggests a screenplay be written, in which the leading lady suggests a screenplay be written, in which the leading lady...
Stop! I get it already. But if she wants to cheer him up and he's a writer, what else could she suggest?
They could leave the party.
You want to leave the party?
Not necessarily, but in our screenplay, my character might want to leave the party.
All right. We could have a shot of us opening the front door and another of us coming down the long brick stairway.
But this brownstone only has one step, and it's concrete.
Oh, concrete, boring. Anything else would be better.
How about cast iron?
That would do. So, we're coming down the cast iron stairs, and it's 10 p.m. already.
Oh, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon now.
Where is your imagination? I'm telling you. It's 10 at night, and our faces are lit by street lamps, and the occasional passing taxi. And we're holding hands.
Holding hands? We got to that point, haven't we?
Sure. And the camera is far enough back to show us holding hands. And as it zooms in, my hair is blown in a gust of wind. You're to my right, your character that is, and my accent light is off to my left so you won't block it. As we put our arms around each other's waists, the camera zooms in until the screen is filled with our happy faces, lit with the promise of an evening together. Our first date.
Wonderful. But, does anybody say anything?
Nobody has to. That's the beauty of cinema. You can have those moments where words can't add anything. They can only subtract. All you need are actors whose faces, whose entire bodies are magnetic.
That must be where you come in.
Not only me, don't put yourself down. You seem pretty magnetic yourself.
Yeah, that's because it's getting dark.
I won't hear a word against my leading man.
You're a leading man. You don't even know my name.
Actually, I do. It's Jonathan Cantwell.
Well, they must have told you. But I still don't know yours.
Melanie. Melanie Miller.
A very euphonious name.
Thank you. I chose it myself. It's my nom de cinema.
Well, Melanie Miller, you've gotten us down the stairs, and our faces fill the screen as we savor the prospect of our first date.
Not quite.
That's what you said.
I know that's what I said. I left the story on a temporary peak of pleasure.
Temporary?
I'm afraid so. For already my character's face is clouding over with worry. She glances nervously to the left and to the right.
What's going on?
It's a secret.
Oh?
She wants to keep it from him as long as possible. So she smiles bravely up at him and suggests they go for a walk.
Where to?
We'll see, she says mysteriously. And the scene jump cuts to the pedestrian walkway of the Williamsburg Bridge.
Well, that's quite a jump.
Quite a scene. All that heavy, oppressive steelwork. And a cold, full moon high behind them and a bit to the side. Our characters are standing next to each other, gazing at the dark river below. They're not holding hands. They're slightly silhouetted by the moon, but all the same, you can see her widened eyes as she tells him how glad she is that they are together, so she can enjoy whatever time she has left.
Time she has left?
Yes, he's startled by this and turns to her, taking her shoulders to turn her to face him. Now his is the face with the glint of moonlight on it, and hers is all in shadow, as she says, every moment is precious.
Well, of course it is, he says. I mean, that's true all the time, but is it any more true now than usual? That's what my character wants to know.
And that's what I don't know how to tell you, she says. But you'll learn it soon enough. And the camera zooms in on her clasped hands shaking against her shivering body. No.
Let's find a place out of the cold, he says. I could use a scotch. I've been on the wagon, he says, his face filling the screen. I sure feel like falling over now. The camera pulls back to show him flagging a cab on 2nd Avenue. They're off the bridge at that point. Is that all right?
Perfect. You're catching on just fine.
Do we jump cut to the table inside the cafe then?
Better cut to just outside the front door. See the sign above the front door? Joe's Drinks and Eats. Shows the kind of dive he's taking her to. Close up on her face shows she's game for anything.
Then we cut to the table?
Better cut to just inside the front door to show it opening and see my character's face as she takes in the scene. It's definitely a neighborhood joint, overcrowded with casually dressed folks all raising their voices and gesticulating madly to be heard in the hubbub. Close up on her widened eyes, taking in the scene.
It's the second time you've mentioned your widened eyes.
Well, I've seen some pretty wild stuff.
Like what?
Let's sit down first.
Okay, we cut to the waiter, showing us to our table. We sit down. Oh, will you tell me about some of those wild sights you've seen?
Wait, the waiter wants to know if we'll have anything to drink. I say ginger ale and fine.
And I say double scotch, no rocks.
That'll warm you up.
It is warming me up quite nicely. Now, about those wild sights you've been seeing?
What about your falling off the wagon?
I asked you first.
I know you did, but since I'm a woman, you should be gracious and humor me.
Is that right?
I think so.
Okay. I started drinking when Betty walked out.
I'm sure that must have been traumatic. What did she tell you?
Oh, nothing much, just that I was so boring, she could hardly wait to get out of my house.
Unbelievable.
You really don't believe she called me boring?
Well, if you say so, it must have happened, but to think she would say such a thing. It's hard to believe anyone could be so deliberately cruel.
Thousands are deliberately cruel every day. She had more reason than some. I'm sure she was disappointed in me. She thought she was getting a glamorous intellectual, but what she really landed was a stay-at-home stick in the mud.
May I ask why you married her?
Because this dazzlingly beautiful woman, the life of every party, batted her eyes at me and told me she loved me. And I believed her.
I'm not the first man to be foolish in these matters. It's an old story.
And it's so, I'm not going to say unbelievable anymore. It's not so unbelievable. It's just sad.
You're right about that. But we had no children to hold her back. She wanted to trade up. I was a school teacher, the new guy was a bank president. She wanted to do better, so she split. Happens all the time, it's no big deal.
It's a very big deal to me. I need you sober enough to write up my story, our story, and make it into a movie. I need you to stay well enough so that even if nobody sees our movie, you'll keep telling my story long after I'm gone.
Where?
Away. Where do you think?
I don't know what to think. You're being so damn mysterious about what is frightening your character. I don't know how much is real.
This is art, isn't it? It's all real. Do you mind if I have some of that?
Here.
Thanks.
Is this in the movie?
Sure, if you like.
It's not me who has to like it. This is your story.
It's our story. Later, we'll get back to your apartment.
Really?
It has to be yours. They know where I live. They're probably casing the place right now, waiting for me to get back.
You're being followed?
I hope not, she says. And the screen fills with images of her immediate past, as we hear her say that she left the house with a change of clothing in her backpack, ducked into a hotel restroom, changed her clothes, and put what she had been wearing in a tote bag that she'd also brought in the backpack. Then she ducked out the back door of the restaurant and did her best to shake them.
Shake who? Who is following you?
I was going to leave the tote bag in the foyer behind the front door, but I thought it was safer to bring it with me.
Are you going to tell me what's going on, or do I have to end the movie?
No, don't end it. We're just getting started.
On what? There's nothing happening!
On what is happening? I'm trying to draw you into my world, my character's world, that is. I'm trying to make you more sympathetic to me, so you'll help me.
By writing something? I wish he could, but the fact is, he's not writing anything anymore, nothing more than comments on student papers. The reason he carries that clipboard around is to fool people, himself especially.
Don't say that.
Why not?
Because he could write. You could write if you just stop putting yourself down. You still have talent to write.
Very kind of you, but it's bullshit all the same.
Oh, I see. So anyone who disagrees with you is full of it. I don't think so. You know what I think?
I know you're about to tell me.
Damn right, I'm about to tell you. You're afraid to think well of yourself, Jonathan Cantwell, because if you did, you'd have to get up off your duff and write my story.
What if I cannot?
I may not be able to find anyone who will. There may not be enough time.
Good God, Melanie, what is going on?
The camera is behind him as he speaks, and we see her face grow taut, and the fingers of both hands grip her now empty tumbler.
Speak, Melanie. Talk to me.
I so wish I'd ordered the scotch, she says. Like you.
Here, have some of mine. Now, who is following you and why?
Give me the camera shot.
God! All right. Camera is far enough away to motivate hearing the sounds of background conversation, but close enough to hear him say, now who is following you and why? As she begins to speak, the camera pulls in to focus on her every word. The background noises fade away.
I was in a joint sort of like this, except the TV was bigger, and there were photos of sports heroes on the walls. It was in New Jersey, wouldn't you know? This was Danny's favorite hangout.
Danny?
My ex-boyfriend. He loved coming here because he was a sports nut, and occasionally he'd see one of his heroes in the place and get him to autograph a napkin or whatever he had with him. Now, I didn't care much for sports, but Danny was so crazy about them that I went along. It was good to see him happy. So he was a regular there, and I was too. They knew our names, where we lived, our life stories, in fact. So, when Danny dumped me, the last place I wanted to go was that sports bar. I didn't want to answer everyone's questions about where was Danny and what was I doing out by myself. So I started thinking, is this the bitter end simply because Danny dumped me? Just because I didn't have a boyfriend, was I going to stay holed up in my apartment forever? No. I could go out by myself. I just wouldn't go to that sports bar. And then I thought that sports bar was the one place I had to go to. Nobody was going to tell me where I couldn't go. Which all sounds ridiculous. But as soon as I decided I was over Danny, I went straight to that bar just to see if I could. It was weird walking in there alone, and I ordered a drink so I'd have something to hold on to. That's when I noticed a young couple at a small corner table. His back was to me, but I could see her face. She was beautiful, with fiery red hair that fell to her shoulders. He was taking both her hands in his and kissing her hands. Her eyes were dark with love, and I just knew they could hardly wait till they were home together. Oh, Jonathan, that's a scene we've got to have in our movie. Not them, but us. I mean, our characters. I see a close-up of you removing my blouse, but all you can see is my head and shoulders. That's it. But it's enough. If we do it right, it'll be very sexy.
So our encounter will be scripted, will it?
In the movie, it'll have to be. The outlines, anyway. But in real life, of course, the less scripting, the better.
We could do the real life first as sort of a warm-up.
That would be something to look forward to.
You have me interested.
I'm glad.
But I'm still wondering who is following you and why. Do you think you would distract me from that?
It was worth a try.
Well, it didn't work, so just tell me.
In this dive I was telling you about, the one with the loving couple in the corner, I saw something that will stay with me as long as I live. However long that is.
Go ahead.
I was sitting by myself at a table near the front door. There was a stiff breeze outside, so every time the door opened, a bunch of dead leaves blew inside the restaurant, and I felt the chill. That's what happened when a big guy wearing a black raincoat opened the front door but didn't bother closing it. A bunch of dead leaves were blowing around inside like crazy, and it got really chilly as this guy, calm as you please, walked a few yards to a table across from me, pulled out a pistol, and shot a guy in the head.
God.
There was blood all over the wall, brains too, I think. I heard shrieking, and I saw people were looking away, but I kept staring at the guy with the gun. And this is weird. All I could think, his pistol was as black as his raincoat. Killer noticed me staring at him, and he started moving towards me, but I got up, and I ran out the front door, and up the street so fast I thought my heart was going to burst out of my chest. Ever since then, I've been a marked woman. Stressed out of my mind.
I don't blame you, but take a breath. Don't let your imagination run away with you. In all likelihood, no one is gunning for you. And even if someone were, this is a big city. How could the killer find you, even if he wanted to?
All he would have to do is send a colleague of his to the sports bar to inquire about me. You forget. They know my name. They know the block where I live.
You're making too much of this.
Am I? A few days after, I got a phone call. But when I picked up the receiver, someone on the other end hung up.
But that can happen anytime. A wrong number or something, anytime.
Repeatedly? And I have been noticing the same car. A black Lincoln driving slowly up the street. I'm telling you, Jonathan, I'm afraid to go home.
I don't blame you. Come home with me. They don't know where I live.
If they followed me home with you, they'd find out soon enough. I can't go home with you, Jonathan. I'd never forgive myself if something happened to you. Whatever happens, better it's just me. All I ask is that you write a screenplay about this. Or if you feel you can't do a screenplay, then write a regular play script. Try to get it produced, and if you can, then try to get it read. And if you can't even do that, just tell my story any way you can to whomever you meet. Will you promise?
Has there been a casting call for a film with this thing?
Not that I know of.
No? Nothing with an innocent heroine being pursued by the mob?
If there were, I'd audition for it.
You know what I think? That's what I believe you're doing right now, Melanie. Auditioning, or more likely, rehearsing for an audition to come. Before an audition, an audience more important than I.
You think that?
Yeah, I'm sure of it. I've heard how some of these auditions go. The actor shows up in costume, in character, and starts saying things scripted and unscripted, just like they're being filmed.
That's a wonderful idea. I love it. You do have imagination after all, and you can go on believing that story if it helps you.
Come on, Melanie. Don't you think if there was a shooting in a sports bar, it would be in all the New York papers, even if it happened in New Jersey? I don't recall hearing any such story.
It's all right, Jonathan. You remember what you like, just as long as you remember to write it. You gotta write it, please. I don't want my light snuffed out like some odd candle in the corner with nobody noticing.
You know, Melanie, you're very good at this. Totally believable.
I've earned it. Trust me. Or don't. It doesn't matter anymore. All that matters is that you promise you'll write it. I gotta go. Promise me, please.
I promise. But this whole thing is so fantastic. I can scarcely believe I didn't dream the whole thing up. After you've gone, how will I know that I didn't hallucinate the whole thing? Give me something to remember you by, something so that I'll know you at least are real, whatever your story, and that I didn't dream you up.
Very real. Here. This ought to remind you. My mother always used to say that you should always wear good panties, so that if they find you dead somewhere, you won't be embarrassed. Please don't make me seem too crazy.
I'll do my best.
I know it. Bye-bye.
That was something else. Did that really just happen? Was a mysterious girl who calls herself Melanie just in here, sitting next to me, talking to me, pulling me out, drawing me in? Oh my God, she's got me talking to myself. Too much scotch. I gotta go back on the wagon. I gotta forget the whole thing. Oh. Can I? Oh no. But promise is a promise. Better get at it. Scene. A large, small parlor in a large apartment. One can hear the sounds of a big party coming from an adjoining room. Discovered is Jonathan, sitting in a chair and reading his Kindle.
I shouldn't have given you those panties. I may need them later.
No problem. I'm really glad you came back.
Thanks. Did you miss me? Oh, you've started already. Oh, I love you.
All right. Sure will remember that. Will I see you again?
I love you, Jonathan. Goodbye.
Unbelievable.
I think those first few weeks were the happiest time of my life until then. Maybe since then, too. I know I'm not supposed to say that, and believe me, it'd be so much easier if I didn't feel that way. Do you get why this whole thing is so goddamn confusing? All we did was sit at the diner and talk. God, did we talk until we were hoarse, and then we talked some more? Lauren thought that was weird. Like, it would be okay if he just wanted to sleep with me, but actually being interested in what I had to say, now that was perverse. And I said to her, who else wants to hear what I have to say? My dad, who's never around? Or my mom? She's working all the time. If someone wants to hear about the Scarlet Letter, at least somebody does. Sophia said she would have talked to me about the Scarlet Letter, which made me feel bad because I didn't mean it as a put down. I told her it's different than talking to a friend, that talking to him made me feel more sure of myself. Like I had the right to a real opinion about books, about movies, about the world. And talking to him made me feel like I was important to somebody. Just anybody. Maybe he got what he wanted from me, and that all those nights at the diner sharing fries with gravy and chocolate pudding were a means to an end. I get that. I can see that. But I got something too.
Do you know how my wife met the man that she left me for? Online dating service. Yes. eHarmony.com. 30 cross sections of compatibility, whatever. They hadn't even met when she left. They just talked online for over a year, for 13 months. She put our kids to bed, crawled into bed next to me with her laptop, and chatted with Loverboy while I watched baseball games. And I was so stupid. I thought, I don't know, I was convinced that she'd settled down. You know, that the discontent that she felt just wasn't there anymore. That we finally stumbled into this beautiful, predictable, domestic bliss. But no, she was in bed right next to me, our bed, falling in love with another man. I was just happy that she wasn't complaining that I was watching SportsCenter. And I'm the bad guy. She gets to lie and connive and deceive, and then she gets my kids, and I'm here because I wanted something better for myself. Something pure and good. Some world.
He told me he loved me, and then he asked if I loved him too. And I said, how would I know? How could I possibly know?
Oh, she does. She absolutely does. She told me of her own free will. You know, and I don't care if you believe me or don't. I would have never said another word to her if she didn't feel the same way. And whatever she says now, or is being forced to say, I would never have acted without a sign from her. I'm not a monster. You know, I'm not I wasn't searching for this. I wasn't rooting around like some animal. She came to me. She came to me.
Lauren noticed first. She said, look at that guy. He's like totally leering at you. Of course I looked. I mean, who wouldn't look? He was at lane 9 with his boy and girl, and I was at the snack bar with Lauren and Sophia, which is kind of back and to the left from the lanes as you're facing the pins. We were all three there sharing a fry. Lauren was trying to hook up with the guy at the shoe rental, and Sophia just didn't want to be home with her stepfather. And I just wanted to be somewhere Somewhere that wasn't home, waiting for my mom to get off work. He wasn't really leering. He was definitely sneaking peeks in between trying to keep his little girl dropping her ball on her foot, which she almost did once. She lost her grip while she was bringing the ball back, and it rolled like 3 lanes down the lane with the guy chasing after it, apologizing. When he finally caught up with it, he stood straight up with this tiny pink ball in his hand, and he looked right at me by mistake. He was embarrassed, but he smiled in that, "What are you gonna do with kids these days?" kind of way. And I looked back at him like, how the hell should I know? But he just laughed and shook his head. No. I don't remember feeling any way about him, positive or negative. He was just some dad. Some normal, suburban, bowling with your kids kind of dad. Whatever that is. I knew he liked me, but I mean, I was young, but I wasn't ignorant. Even if you've never been looked at in that way before, and believe me, I hadn't, you can feel that a man's look is boring into you. It's not even a little bit subtle. It like bores into the back of your skull. It's almost like pain.
Love is a curious thing. You know, you never know where it's going to come from or when, but when it hits you from everywhere at once. Your head, your heart, your skin, you know, it's like, God, it's like you're exploding from the inside, you know? Food tastes better. The sun shines brighter. You think about crazy things like diving into the ocean naked, or sitting out all night to watch a meteor shower. You know? Everything seems possible. Oh, okay. Yeah, laugh it up. That's funny. Huh? So what, you have a badge so you know better than me? I know how I feel. All right, who are you to tell me otherwise?
I know my mom wants me to be here, but seriously, this was all like 3 years ago. It's ancient history as far as I'm concerned. No, I'm not dating anyone because I don't want to. All the boys who are interested in me just want to be with a girl who had an affair. I had to change schools. I mean, it followed me everywhere. What's the healthy way to react to that? Start sleeping around? I just don't get it. I know what this is really about. She thinks I'm gonna go running to him at the moment I turn 18. Like I'm some kind of brainless robot who thinks that the whole world revolves around this one guy. She's freaked out, so I'm here being forced to talk to you an hour every week. My mom should be the one here, not me. I'm fine. Really, I'm fine. I don't have any lingering effects from this devastating thing that happened. I'm not, no. Devastating is not my word, no. Devastating is what everybody else calls it, as if they know better than me about my own life. No. I'm not devastated. I'm careful. What happened happened. I had an experience. I'm a different person, and I've moved on. What choice did I have?
Okay, you know what? I honestly don't care whether or not you believe me. I did not sleep with her. I mean, I wanted to. I'm not going to deny that. But I'm not going to apologize for it either. You know? We kissed on occasion when it felt right. But I never let it go any further. She wanted to do more. She did. You can go wherever you've got her stowed away and ask her yourself. She was even worried that I wasn't attracted to her. If you could believe that. I couldn't. I explained to her that we just had to wait until, until she's legal. Is that what you want to hear? It's not true, but why should we let the truth get in the way? What's the truth? The truth is that I wanted her to come to me, all right, when she was totally ready, without a shred of doubt in her mind. I mean, she is something out of a dream. I would have waited for her forever.
No, he never forced God. I'm so sick of explaining this to you. He asked permission to hold my frickin' hand. I mean, you get it? When I told Lauren that, she nearly laughed herself off the chair. She was like, "Are you kidding me? What is this, the 1950s? You go into the sock hop?" She just said, "Just grab him one night and stick your tongue down as far down his throat as it'll go." But that was Lauren. That was not me. Lauren just lives, you know? She doesn't stop to think about anything. People say she must act that way because she's got low self-esteem or something, but she's got to be the most self-assured person I know. I wish I was more like that. I mean, I'm just not. I mean, I have a hard enough time just figuring out what I want in life without grabbing it by the back of the neck and making it mine. Sophia? She didn't like him from the start. In a weird way, I think she was jealous, but, like, not of me, but of him. Not that she's gay or anything, although maybe she is, I don't know. I think she wanted me to be around more, like I used to be. Pretty soon I was at his place every day from the time he got home from work until the time my mom was due home. I'd cook. Sometimes we'd get a movie from Netflix or have a picnic on the floor. It was easy. That's what bothered Sophia, I think, because it used to be her I'd be watching that movie with. So she'd just start saying stuff like he's using me or he just wants to get into my pants. Hurtful stuff. Or she said that's what men do, like they just want to lie to you and then they hurt you, but how would she know? I told her over and over again it wasn't like that, but she wouldn't let up. And finally I said to her, "He's not your stepfather, you know." I shouldn't have said that. Saying that is probably the most hurtful thing I've ever done.
Yes, I did go back to the bowling alley to seek her out, but it's not like you're making it out to be. It wasn't predatory. You know, I've seen the molester shows. I've read Lolita. I've seen all 2,000 episodes of Law and Order. I am not that guy. All right? That's what I cannot get you to understand. I didn't go back there intending to take advantage of her. You know, I had to know. I had to know if what I saw was real. Oh, God, how can I explain to you what I don't have the words to express? I needed to look in her eyes and see it again. You know, that's all it was. I swear, and I don't expect you to believe me, all right? You're going to call it inappropriate, you're going to call it morally wrong, but just because you can't understand it doesn't mean I don't feel it. All right? I mean, you don't even want to get what I'm talking about, but you do. You do. If you are a living, breathing human being, you do.
How am I supposed to answer that? I don't know. I was flattered, I guess. Empowered. All the other girls at school knew something. With their flirting and sexting and touching, they knew something that I just didn't. They could reach something that was always beyond me.
You could see it in their eyes that they knew their power already. They knew it, and they enjoyed it. Through their whole bodies, to their toes. I had no idea about what they knew. And I suppose that part of me wanted to so desperately. Wanted to be inside that shining place where girls smiled and winked at each other, and the boys knew your name, and you had value. This man somehow saw something in me that no one had ever seen before. Not even myself. How could I not be overwhelmed? Plain old me in my jeans and my hoodie. He really, really wanted to know me. What an aphrodisiac. Even if I wasn't old enough to know what that word meant.
No, you misunderstand me. I have no illusions that I am in any way worthy of her. All right, I mean, I'm a good enough looking guy, I guess, but for my age. But she is radiant. You know, she's not just beautiful, it's not just attractive, she glows. Did you ever meet somebody that glowed? You can't look away. I mean, you can try to ignore it or pretend that it's not there, but you cannot ignore it. She is the most beautiful soul I will ever know. What could I ever do but corrupt her? Just to utter a word to her is a corruption.
He told me all the time how beautiful he thought I was. I told him to stop it. I didn't want to hear it, but he wouldn't stop. I'd look at myself in the mirror in the morning and I'd wonder, what is he seeing? My eyes are saggy and my nose has got blackheads all over it. And I'm not anything special. He just said that my feeling that way is what made me special. I didn't know how to argue with that. And to be perfectly honest, I don't even know if I wanted to.
Oh, all right. You know what? Don't drag my kids into this. Okay? It's bad enough that I'm probably never going to be able to see them again, no matter how this turns out. But how did I do wrong by them? Huh? Tell me that. By what? Introducing them to a kind, loving, responsible person? My wife has them living with a guy that she met on the internet, for Christ's sakes. That's a complete stranger, and he is taking care of my son and my daughter. That girl wouldn't hurt a soul. And I am glad that my kids got to know her. Oh, you know what? That's fucking sick. All right? You're a fucking deluded person. That is my daughter you're talking about. You people.
My biggest regret is getting to know Annie and Jake. Not that I don't love them with all my heart. The most meaningful moments were when we were watching SpongeBob and I was doing Annie's hair in pigtails while Jake had his head on my lap. I know that it wasn't like being a real mom or anything, but it was just nice, comfortable, like a real family. Not my family, but still. We'd get pizza, we'd play Chutes and Ladders, and Annie would put her little soft hands on my face. I never had a little brother or sister. It was always just me and my mom. And it was only every other weekend. But I felt like they loved me. And I loved them.
And now I wish it had never happened. We will never be able to see each other again. Look, I know my mom is worried about me, but she really, really shouldn't be. She raised me to make my own decisions since I was 9. What to wear to school, what to make myself for dinner, when to go to sleep. It's not her fault she had to work all the time. I'm sure it wasn't her childhood dream to be a single mom with 2 jobs. I had to grow up faster, that's all. When there's no one there to tell you when to do your homework or whatever, do the dishes, you realize you have to choose to do it yourself. Stop being a baby and take some responsibility. None of this is her fault. She's a good person. She does what she does to keep a roof over our heads. It's been me and her against the world. She shouldn't blame herself just because I was lonely.
So, what could I possibly have in common with her? I mean, that's what you're trying to say, right? You know, all that pop culture stuff that we're just saddled with from birth. The TVs, the movies, the music, it's all just trash. You don't even have a choice in the matter. You grow up in the 80s and you're stuck with the Breakfast Club and Adam Ant and the Cosby Show. Who cares if she has never read Bonfire of the Vanities? I don't. There's enough going on right now. Although, you know what? To be truthful, I can't stand that pop music that she listens to. Especially the women in Pink, or Keisha, or Lady Gaga. They don't leave enough to the imagination, you know? Oh my God, listen to me. I sound like an old man.
All I wanted, all I really wanted.
Why can't I? Why can't I deserve someone like her? Someone innocent and not ruined. Someone who doesn't look at me through a glaze in her eyes like I'm some big damn disappointment. I don't know, maybe I'm not the richest man, maybe I'm not the biggest success, but I know how to love somebody. You know, I know how to listen. Right, what? That's funny too? Great, that's hysterical. And then, why are you so much better than me? I have not committed a crime either. I managed to find somebody in this horrific, decrepit world that makes me feel good, makes me want to hold my head up high, makes me feel like a man. And I'm not giving that to you because you think that I'm a bad person. It's what she thinks that matters, not you. I mean, what do you have? What do you have besides a gun?
I just wanted my own someone. I saw Lauren with her boys, and they all looked so knowing and present. I mean, they were just hooking up, but they had something unspoken between them. They had a connection. I wanted that. I didn't necessarily want to sleep with anybody, but I did want somebody to look at me in that way. I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. I'm seeking male approval because I never knew my father, but I think it's such a crock. Who doesn't want approval from the opposite sex? I was practically invisible for the first 14 years of my life. And then he didn't just want to sleep with me. He was proud. He was proud to be with me. I made him proud. Just by being myself.
She told you that? What did you do to her? No, you did something, because she never would have said that if you hadn't. Did you make her feel guilty? You did, didn't you? God damn it, she is just a kid!
Why do I need to talk about this? What good is it going to do to speak those words? What kind of miracle is going to occur?
You know what, I think it's time for me to stop talking. You got my side of the story. I don't need to prove anything else to you.
Saying it out loud is not going to change anything. It won't. All it's going to do is make it come right smack in front of my face again. Why would I want to do that?
No, come on, no, God. Oh, God, damn it, no. This can't be happening. Come on, I've got kids!
Fine. Fine. It was one time. It wasn't even important. It just happened. One Friday night after he put his kids to bed. What more? There's no more. No. He didn't hurt me. He treated me like I was made of glass. It's not even the part of this whole thing that I remember, and it's the part that everyone wants to talk about. The detectives, and my mom, and every single person in my school, and now you! No, I don't. I don't understand everyone's concern. It was nothing. It was just sex. I didn't think that the clouds were going to open up and the angels were going to start singing. I'm not that girl. Not that girl. I'm the kind of girl who doesn't cry rape after making a conscious choice to sleep with somebody. I started it, or at least I didn't stop it when I could have. And I could have. And I don't know how old enough is, but actions have consequences. So maybe I wasn't mature enough to realize that at the time. But now a man is in jail because of me. And maybe you're right. Maybe I'm not responsible. But I feel responsible. Nothing would have happened if I didn't let it happen. And sure, you can say that he should have known better, that he was the adult or whatever, but he wasn't the responsible one. I was. Whether that should be true or shouldn't be true, it makes no difference. It was. It just was. Do you get why I don't want to talk about this? It just goes around and around and around and around.
You know, this friend of mine, this guy that I work with, I come into the office one morning and he sees something about me. You know, it's the look on my face or the way I was walking, but he says to me, this guy, he says, "You must be happy." This guy's known me for a long time. He knew me through the whole thing with my ex, losing my kids, so he'd seen me at my worst. You know? So I must have looked as if some giant weight had been lifted. And I said to him, my friend, I said, "You know what? I think I am." Fucking stupid, right? I think that she could ever make me happy. Think that I really, really was happy. No, you're right. I'm feeling sorry for myself. And if I don't, who will?
Love? You're kidding me, right? Okay, what do you want me to say about love? Does it exist? Yeah, I'm sure it exists somewhere. How should I know where? No. I'm not in love with him. I'm 17 years old. What I know about anything would not fill up the first chapter of a book. And you know what? He wasn't really in love with me either. He was in love with whatever fantasy he had going on in his head about who I was. His illusion. So that's what I learned about love. You can build it up around anybody if you're desperate enough. Even me. Even a pimply-faced 14-year-old nothing. No. That's not how I think of myself. I am something. I'm just not sure what. Maybe I was trying to find out. And I won't be making that mistake anytime soon. I'm closed for renovations.
I love her. I do. If I thought for a minute that I had done anything to hurt that girl, that is the last thing in the world that I would ever do.
My mom? She